I have a lot of infusible ink and I want to see how Romeo can handle it. Let's talk about it. It's Romeo Wednesday. Hello everyone and welcome to Crafting with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda. And thank you so much for joining me today. You know it's Romeo Wednesday. You know I love infusible ink. I can't wait to show you how Romeo was able to cut it. At the end of this video, if you find it helpful, please consider liking the video, subscribing to my channel, and turning on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Now, without further ado, let's get started. The materials I'm using for this project include my Siser Romeo, heat-resistant gloves, heat-resistant mat, sublimation-ready coasters, infusible ink, my Siser high-tack mat, and I'm using a 9x9 easy press. Now, I will be using Leonardo Design Studio, but you do not need the Pro Edition for this tutorial. The files that I'm using can be found on the Creative Fabrica website. I went to the website and did a search for Christmas Coaster SVG bundle, and this bundle just was perfect for this project. After clicking download, you will have to extract the files. What I like to do is click extract and browse all. Then I go to my Creative Fabrica folder. I create a folder that has the same name as the bundle or file that I'm using, and I save my files in the new folder. I do this every time, and this helps me to keep my files organized. I am in Leonardo Design Studio. You will not need the Pro Edition for this project. The first thing I'm going to do is go to the menu at the bottom and select a shape. I just chose a square because that matches the size of the coasters that I'm using. I'm going to resize the square to 3.78 just to give me a little bit of wiggle room. And instead of having this as a fill, I'm going to change it to a stroke because I just want the outline of the square. Now I'm going to duplicate the square 3 more times for a total of 4 squares because I plan to use 4 different designs and these squares will represent the template. I clicked open in the top left corner and I'm navigating to where I have the files downloaded. And what I'm going to do is start to select SVGs that I like, and I'm only importing them as cut only files. Now I'm resizing this first file and I'm making sure that it fits nicely in the template that I created. And what I'll do is right click on the file and I will start to remove any parts of the file that I don't want. So I right clicked and I selected ungroup and I deleted the reindeer and the candy cane. I think I'll leave the wine glass. It looks fine. Once I have the design exactly how I want it, I'll select it again. I'll remove the box because I'm finished with that, and I will select paths and weld just to keep it all together. I'll move on and select another SVG. Remember, for each of the files, I'm selecting SVGs, not PNGs. I'm going to bring them in as cut files and I will prepare all 4 to make sure they fit in those squares without any overlap. Now that I have all 4 of the files finished, I'm just going in and changing the color of each file so that they will be cut separately, and I'll be prompted to use a different mat each time. Now with infusible ink, remember you do have to mirror the image. So I have 4 different mats because I use 4 different colors. I'm going to select the mirror option, and everything I'll do from here will be back on the camera. I did test cuts before I started cutting my actual pieces of infusible ink, and what I found to be the perfect setting was a force of 45 and a cut speed of 9. I'm going to open this box of infusible ink. You will notice once I get it open that it is packaged in a black plastic bag. The purpose of that is to protect the ink and conserve it as long as possible so it has a long shelf life. I don't always keep mine in that black plastic. It just depends on how much of it I have left. So I'm going to take it out. You will notice that the infusible ink looks very dull. So the red and black does not look vibrant at all. There are 2 sheets in this package. There's also a lint cloth. You will see me use that when it's time to press the coasters. So there's also butcher paper that I'm going to use. This box has 2 sheets, the red and black buffalo check plus the black sheet. I'm going to put it on the mat face up. Now I have the infusible ink on the mat face up. I'm inserting it into my Siser Romeo. I really should have used a brayer because I see it's kind of pulling up a little bit, but it ended up being okay. I'm going to get this cut out. Remember, my design is mirrored in Leonardo Design Studio. You have to mirror the image when you're using infusible ink, even though you're cutting it face up. Let's get this cut out. It looks like the Romeo did a good job of cutting this. Let's get all 4 designs cut, and then we will go overhead and get them weeded. I have all 4 designs. This is the first one. I will say that most people who don't like infusible ink, they don't like it because that is hard to weed. And I will definitely say I agree with that. I have had my own struggles weeding infusible ink. I do feel like the Siser Romeo did a pretty good job of cutting through the infusible ink without cutting too deep while also cutting deep enough. I did manage to get all of the designs weeded without a problem. You'll see once we get to the 3rd and 4th, maybe even the 2nd design, I had to bring in my weeding tool to help me get in those smaller crevices. So right here, I'm just using my fingers to get all of those pieces that are on the inside of the letters. I'm still doing well without having to use my weeding tool just yet. But once I got to the buffalo check pattern and I noticed there were a lot of smaller pieces, my fingers just could not do the job, and I had to grab my pen weeding tool to help me get those smaller pieces. I did not turn on my heat press until I got to the 3rd or 4th design because the easy press heats up really fast, and I know I needed to set it to 400 degrees for 60 seconds. I'm setting the easy press to a temperature of 400 degrees for 60 seconds. That is the recommended setting according to the Cricut heat guide. It does heat up very fast, so I'm not concerned about that. They do also suggest using an easy press mat. I'm going to place butcher paper on top of the mat. There are 2 sheets right there, and I'm using the lint cloth to clean off the coasters. Okay, I have the first coaster. I'm going to carefully place the first image on the coaster, making sure it's centered and no part of the design is hanging off the coaster. And then I'll do the same thing with the second coaster, clean it with the lint cloth. There isn't a protective backing on this one. And I will place the second design on top and making sure that it is centered and none of the design is hanging off. Let's recap. I have the butcher paper, the coaster face up, the infusible ink face down is adhered securely. I'm placing butcher paper on top of that to protect my heat press. And according to the Cricut guide, you do not add any pressure. You place the easy press on top of the coaster and just let it sit there for 60 seconds. You see my hands are not on my easy press at all. I have on my heat resistant gloves. I'm going to just pull my easy press straight up and I am going to peel the backing away. Be careful because these coasters are very, very hot. Look at that. You already know I'm going to say I love it. I love it. I love this one. Let's take a look at the second one. Oh my goodness, I love it so much. Okay, look at the second one. Remember, infusible ink is sublimation ink. Let's go ahead and repeat this process for the next two coasters. All right, let's repeat. We're going to clean the coasters with the lint cloth. Be careful when you open the package. I cut one of mine, so I'm cleaning the second one. I'm using the same butcher paper. Place the infusible ink face down. Make sure it is secured to the coaster. Place the second one. Double check your image if you need to. And then you are going to place butcher paper on top and you are going to just let the easy press sit on top for 60 seconds. And then it's just that easy. You remove the butcher paper. Make sure you have heat resistant gloves. I'm turning my easy press off because I'm finished with this project. Let's go ahead and peel it and reveal it. Look at that. You know I'm going to say it again. I love it. I love it. I love the way all four of these came out. And if you do too, and you found this tutorial helpful, please consider liking the video, subscribing to my channel, and turning on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye.